Ryan Leaf here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Ryan? Can you hear me now?
The Rich Eisen Show. Wow.
Oh gosh, thank God.
This is great.
Thank you. All right, I set you up, and I guess your first ball on the tee there at Mountain Gate. So let me ask you this question, Ryan. What did you make of the Calvin Ridley news?
Well, of course, we've been asking players to be more upfront about this when they're going through what they're going through, and not feel ashamed and because of the stigma that exists. So we've asked players to do this. So I was extremely proud of him. Extremely proud of Lane Johnson over the weekend, discussing it with Jay Glazer on Fox NFL Sunday. All of those things, what Naomi Osaka did this summer, Simone Biles, those players on a national platform speaking out about the same things that they go through like everybody else, I think is exactly what needs to continue to happen. The spotlight needs to be shown on it. It needs to destigmatize it. Therefore, anybody. Now, people say it's easier for them. They're in the spotlight. I think it actually does a better job for us, because when I was going through it, I had to confront it. Because when I screwed up and when I was going through mental health issues and self-medicated and dealt with it the wrong way, everybody saw it, Rich, and I was confronted and had consequences to my actions and had to seek the help. There's a lot of individuals that go through it in the dark, in the shadows, and then are no longer around because they just disappear. So I love what he did. I love that he's taking care of himself, and I hope that everybody else who's seeing it knows it's okay to not be okay. Ask for the help and do that, regardless of if you're a starting NFL wide receiver or if you're somebody who just is dealing with a mental illness like everybody else.
Now, you know how I feel about the subject, and I feel about you. So what I'm about to say is what I hear from folks who don't quite grasp the seriousness of this, because there is no cast, there's no MRI, there's no crutch, there's no nothing. It's just somebody struggling with something you can't see, right? So what I hear in response is like, why do you need to step away for something that's been created potentially in a world that you willingly walked into, you wanted, you dreamed for this moment? How can you not deal with it? What do you say to that, Ryan?
Yeah, that's extremely hard and harsh from anybody who believes that. I think what they're trying to say is that you are what I wish I could be, a professional football player, a millionaire. And those two things don't fix anything. Money tends to exacerbate probably a lot of things that exist in your life. And so those that have that viewpoint, they're projecting something that's going on inside them. And they may need to take a good look at what's going on with them. That's why you got to push those things out when you hear those types of things, and they're going to be backlash like that because you're a commodity when you're on an NFL team. So you can't actually have real-life problems like everybody else. And I went through the exact same thing. I didn't know what it was, Rich, when I was going through it, right? I just thought I was a bad football player, and therefore I should be, dragged by the media and dragged by the fans and everything like that. I didn't realize that I was clinically depressed, right, that I was going through those things that I would be diagnosed with later in life. And so when you don't know what it is, it's just as hard as the person who's viewing it going, I can't see a crutch, I can't see a cast. It's the same thing for the individual looking in the mirror going, what's wrong with me? I just thought I was lazy. I thought I was sad. I just didn't think my career panned out the way and it didn't, but I also was going through something that everybody else goes through from time to time in their lives, and that's dealing with mental illness. I just didn't know how to do it, and I also did not know how to ask for help, and I applaud both of those gentlemen over this weekend coming forward, talking about it in a public way.
Well, I think there might be some another interesting aspect of this is that the female athletes get a heck of a lot more grief than the male athletes on this. Or male athletes get like you should be masculine and tough enough to get through it. But honestly, I don't mean to keep focusing on what the negative reactions are, but the reason why I'm doing that, Ryan, is because I think I'd like to show those who might be sitting there thinking, Calvin, just suck it up. You know, you went to Alabama. How did you not know that the spotlight in the NFL, or that's what we're assuming what it is too, as to what might be causing him to step away from football, you know, a dream come true for so many other people, trying to maybe through poking holes in what might be coming in the direction of folks like Osaka and Simone Biles or these two football players that we're talking about, Ryan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I understand that. You know, this last year for a lot of people, you know, the COVID situation could have affected a ton of people regardless of what you did for a living. Like, things have been going well in my life with my family, professionally, everything, Rich. But the last 18 months, it's been hard, right? Because my disease tells me, oh, you got this handled, Ryan. You're the big, strong football player. That you got it handled. And when your disease tells you that, and then everybody else tells you around COVID-19 to be socially distanced, my recovery is all based in fellowship. You know, it really is. It's about being with other people, like-minded individuals who can relate with one another. So it's been a tough 18 months. And I had some of the best things in my life going on, yet I was feeling the remnants of that depression. And I think a lot of times where the skeptics get really, really bad at this, when you come out and talk about it and people go, oh, that's cool, he's addressing it, people just assume it goes away because you develop the tools to deal with it. This is an ongoing thing, right? It just doesn't stop once you admit that it exists and you go about your business and trying to live in that recovery side of it. You still have bad days. It still exists, and you have to address it the same way. Like, Calvin Ridley can take some time away and sure enough come back and play really well and have a bout of depression or whatever exists in his terms down the line, and that's going to be okay. It's just astonishing that people stop like treating people like they actually have a mental illness once they've talked about it and have addressed it in some way, shape, or form.
It's a lifetime commitment, obviously. Ryan Leaf here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what would you counsel Calvin Ridley from afar? Clearly, you're not there talking to him, I imagine. But what would you counsel Calvin Ridley to do, or courses of action for him? Right.
Well, I'm not privy to any, reasoning what kind of diagnoses or really what it is at all. He just says he needs time for himself. He's dealing with some emotional and personal issues, and I just commend him on doing it, right? Making a statement about this is why I'm stepping away from a public place, right? A public football team to address the things I need in my personal life with my family and everything like that. And when I'm healthy enough, just like if I had rolled an ankle, when I'm healthy enough, I'll be back out there trying to contribute and make the Atlanta Falcons a winning team. So I love what he's doing. He's got to block out all the noise, and if he's seeing a therapist or a counselor or somebody, they'll be counseling him the same way. Hey, we what other people think of us is none of our business. It's about what we see in the mirror and how we go about it, and that's where true humility becomes who you are, right? The understanding you understand who you are regardless of what anybody else thinks, says, or does, and that's where you develop the most healthy version of yourself. And I commend him again for most people don't have to make a statement to the public about the mental health issue they're going through, right? But he plays a public sport, and there's different circumstances around that as an individual.
A few more minutes left with Ryan Leaf here on the Rich Eisen Show. In the few minutes I have left, how difficult is it to do what Trevor Siemian did, what Cooper Rush did?
Wow.
I mean, how tough is that?
It's extremely hard. It's extremely hard because you don't get the reps in practice. That's the biggest thing. I was on the radio last night talking about this. Sean Payton is an unbelievable head coach in terms of how he schemes offensively, always has been. Mm-hmm. And with that huge play calling sheet he has on the sideline, I swear to God, he probably had a whole section that just read Trevor's favorite plays. And when he got in, he just ran those that he knew Trevor was really, really good at, and they accomplished it. For whatever reason, Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints and Coach Allen on the defensive side of everything, boy, they just have Tom Brady and Tampa Bay's number during the regular season.
Right.
So that has to be tempered a little bit. But, all these backup quarterbacks that got in and got opportunities, I tell you what, the talent is always there. The reason you're in the NFL is because you have talent. From A to Z, they're good. It's just a matter of whether or not they get the opportunity. And when they get that opportunity, they make the most of it. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't go out, I don't know. I don't know if we see Tom Brady that season, and I don't know what that looks like down the future. But when that opportunity presented itself, Tom jumped at it and then kept excelling through the process. And there were opportunities this weekend for guys to do that themselves. And it was fun to see, especially as a guy that really struggled in the NFL as a quarterback, to see guys have success when that opportunity presented itself.
Well, I mean, at least Trevor Siemian's done it before, right? And can actually look at Sean Payton in some sort of a meeting when Sean Payton has that meeting with Trevor Siemian and say, these are my favorite plays, this is what I love. So just in case of emergency, they can break that glass like they did in Week 8, and the same with Geno Smith. Cooper Rush had never started in the NFL before. Neither had Mike White, who even got a cup of coffee against the Patriots, and that was very eye-opening for a lot. But Cooper Rush hadn't thrown a pass in the NFL. He threw 3 back in 2017. That's insane.
Yeah, extremely. He was extremely accurate. And when you listen to those coaches during the offseason, and in particular during fall camp, especially when Dak was out, kind of rehabbing that shoulder, they were really sold on Cooper Rush, his accuracy, the relationship with his wide receivers, and they have maybe one of the best wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Right, when you're talking about Cooper, Lamb, and Wilson, those guys, they're special players, and that shows how good Cooper is and how he's adapted. Because a year ago when Dak went down, Andy Dalton was in, and they looked like a shell of themselves offensively. They just apparently had to go out and get the new redhead. They got a new red rifle in Dallas if that goes down. That's for sure.
Yeah, they can't do it without Ginger. You know what I mean? So, So I guess last one for you here. It's just the thing I love about the NFL. It's just, again, the team. It's the team effort too. And how when you have a team win, how it feels, and then when you have a team win that celebrates the individual achievement of somebody who works so hard, and the team has a front row seat as how hard this person works to either stay with the team or work hard to make sure that the team isn't let down when they have that opportunity, and then they win. What do you think? What was it like in that locker room for the Jets and for the Cowboys and for the Saints and for the Seahawks? What do you think it was like for those dubs yesterday?
I think that it's the continuation, the fighting, the spirit, right? When you're in that locker room and the season seems to be going down the wrong way, and you all are still doing the work every single day, when you're getting huge paychecks, yet you still come to work and try to get better. Mike White with the opportunity in New York, and then to see him do it when they got down 10 late in the game, right? For the defense to step up and get the big interception against Joe Burrow and then turn it into points, do something really fun with the Philly special for the 2-point conversion, Mike White celebrating like that, the rookie Michael Carter running all over the place. I mean, if you're in that locker room, it's exactly what Robert Saleh has been talking about, and especially if you're Jets fans out there. This team had no quit in them. And I think years past, when the season started to go downhill, and Rolling Rock started picking up more and more moss, they tended to quit. And this didn't happen. They're playing arguably one of the best teams in the AFC yesterday, and they just fought tooth and nail to get the win. Same in Seattle with Geno Smith and that defense against Jacksonville. All of those things are huge. It makes Dallas a very big contender when your backup quarterback can go and do what he did. And Micah Parsons may have been the best draft pick last year in the draft, and the impact he's had on that team defensively. So just a ton of fun. New Orleans continues to, I think that hangover is going to ultimately set in when they know they've lost Jameis Winston for the season with the ACL. But Trevor Siemian really, really stepped up in a big way against the defending champions and the GOAT.
Well, Ryan, look forward to hearing your call on Westwood One Sunday Night Football. The Titans in their first game without Derrick Henry, and then obviously taking on a Rams team with Von Miller on it. That's going to be a heck of a game. I look forward to your call.
Yeah, what an opportunity. I don't know what to say, man. I'm just really excited about it. This is a pretty cool kid moment for me.
I love it. You deserve it.
I appreciate it.
You deserve it. You deserve it. Let's talk down the line. Take care of yourself, Ryan. You be well.
All right. Hey, fellas.
What up, Ryan? What up, buddy? Talk soon, bro.
That's Ryan Leaf, everybody. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.